Hello everybody and welcome to a new episode of Banter Blitz with Jan Gustafsson. That's me. The format is always the same because we never change it. I play against premium members 3 or 5 minute games. I will share my entertaining and highly instructive thoughts and we'll learn something and I hopefully win all the games, because if I don't win one game I'll get into a terrible cranky mood and I'll probably lose further games. So let's avoid that, because I'm in a good mood today. I'm gonna go to the movies later. I'm gonna watch Spectre, the new James Bond movie, which is most probably terrible, but I'm still looking forward to it. Let's get the sound check out of the way. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Do you like my tie? What other questions do I have? That's pretty much it. It's my lucky tie, so I'm very motivated for today's session. Got a coffee. It's almost weekend. What's not to like? Not sure if I have any challenges. Haven't really advertised this very much. This is Casper. It's one of our computer opponents. I played my test game against him, but I aborted it after one night of 3, because that's a very strong move. So let's try to play someone more human. What about Markus Ringvelski? Another German. 22-22 was at the very bottom of my list, so he must have been waiting for hours to get this exciting opportunity to play a Grandmaster who will insult and berate him, if he's there at all. Maybe he fell asleep during the long wait, which would then make me look for someone else. No, let's not abort yet. Let's give him a moment. We just started. Maharishi says, Spectre is not bad. I find that hard to believe. I have a theory that every second James Bond movie is terrible. So Casino Royale was good, then Quantum of Solace was terrible, Skyfall was, well, not great, but it was alright. So according to my math, Spectre is supposed to be terrible as well. And according to my math, Markus Ringvelski is not here, so we shall abort. Sorry, Mr. Markus. Who else is on the list? Where's your Mike? Mike spelled in a humorous way, or maybe this is just his first name. Could be the German way of spelling the first name Mike. Maybe he's the Mike. Let's drop the mic. If he's there, maybe no one's here. It's very possible. The tie does look good. Thank you so much. I saw that movie School Ties with, is it called School Ties? I think it's called School Ties with Matt Damon. And they all wear this tie as part of their school uniform. So I had to get it. Where's your mic is around and we start playing classical. Let's see if he goes for the Rui Lopez with bishop b5 or if he does something else. Well, I try to hold the Chess24 logo on this cap into the camera, but we still only have lefty cups. So it's very hard for me to do it. Oh, we got action. He's going for knight g5, one of the sharpest lines around. Normally I chicken out and I go bishop c5 instead of knight f6 to avoid this stuff. But once in a while, why not entertain ourselves a little bit and play this line? I've won a good game in the Bundesliga here on the black side, so I'm not totally unfamiliar with it. Then again, I do have that goldfish memory problem, so I can never recall a thing. Queen f3 is one of the critical moves, so is bishop d3. We used to play bishop e2 in the old days, but this is a little more modern. And last time I checked, which is a couple years back, but I thought that black had very good compensation here for the 2 pawns, and therefore I was more afraid of bishop d3 than of bishop takes c6. Then again, 2 pawns are 2 pawns, so I should do something sensible. And I'm out of book now because I can't recall anything except that I thought it was good compensation for the 2 pawns. Let's see if I can figure out a way for why there should be compensation for these 2 pawns. See some candidate moves, some more aggressive than others. Rook c8, bishop c6 would be a logical move. I'm a bit tempted by going nuts already. Let's do that. Let's go knight g4. My point is if he goes knight g4, which looks logical, I want to go f5, kick this knight around, knight g3, e4, see what happens. There are alternatives like h3. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I am going to do something. He goes h3, which is most unfortunate. Probably I should take here, right? Why not take here? Let's see what happens. Pawn is a pawn. If I'm only one pawn down, it's better than being 2 pawns down. Then again, I would still be a pawn down after queen f2, bishop g5, let's say castles. I'm not 100% sure that I have enough compensation, but I have the 2 bishops, and the game has only just begun. Can't be too bad. b3 is a bit of a surprise. Doesn't seem a priority for Mr. Where's Your Mike to castle. Guess he's gonna do it next move. Not quite sure what this b3 is about. Now I'm sneakily threatening bishop h4, picking up material, so he really should castle. Not gonna be able to do it. He goes bishop h4, which doesn't technically lose material, but it comes close, and I said I'm threatening this, so I gotta go through with it. g3 only move, then bishop h1, and then think long and hard. He can go bishop f8, or he can go gh4, or he could even go long castles, when a lot of pieces would be hanging on both sides. Here, what can I do? I guess the most sensible is to take on g3 and then on f8. Not sure how much I like it though, because it allows him to castle queenside. I don't want that, so I'll pass on getting my pawn back and go queen f8, gh4, queen a3, funky looking move. Stopping long castles, but not going to be able to do it. He castles queenside immediately. I missed that move. Saw it last move, but as we know, I tend to forget stuff quickly. It's a good move. Where's your Mike? Could still transpose to the line I was talking about with bishop g3, but I'm really not all that tempted by grabbing that pawn. Guess I should just go away. Then gh, I'm not sure what I should do. I think I'll hint at some ideas of opening up the queenside. I'm not sure about this a5 move. Might be a loss of a tempo if he goes d4, and also it does give up this, whatever it's called, the b6 square. So I'm not sure about that one, but I'm gonna have to live with that decision for the rest of my life. No takebacks on chess 24. So since I said A, I might as well say a4 or b. Push the pawn. b4, what's that? I can take that. He wants queen f6. Devious. But can he really do that? Takes queen f6. I have a check on a3, but then king d1, and I have no further checks while he's threatening both checkmate on g7 and my poor bishop on c6. b4, strong move. Missed that one as well. How do we react? Normal reaction would be a3, but it's a bit strange too. No, that's a good move. Didn't see it. Gonna suffer. Yeah, I don't see a good move, so I'll make a bad one. What about this one? This looks pretty bad. b5, so aggressive. Where do I want my bishop? On b7 or on d7? I guess I want it here. Then queen b6 bothers me a little bit. Actually, it bothers me too much. Bothers me enough to change plans and put it here. I don't like my position, and I've been slow. I can change something about the slow part. Not sure I can change much about disliking my position. It's giving me the pawn back, which is clever, because now my king is constantly weak. Ooh. Yeah, now there's tricks like threatening b8 followed by something nasty. Yeah, my position is not very good. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Don't know what to do about it. Maybe there is nothing to do about it. I can speed up. You can always speed up. But yeah, the position is terrible. Now I'm making bad moves too, which does not help my case. No, I'm kind of lost. Sad. Yeah, it's just mate. Queen f6 and rook g1. Good game by Where's Your Mic? Crushing me. Totally crushing me, actually. Gonna have to resign that one. That's a frustrating start, but he did play a very good game. Not much I could do, really. Don't think I played that badly. He just played some incredible moves that I had not anticipated at all. So kudos to him. And we are moving on to our next game. Whom shall I play? Still in a good mood. One loss is not going to ruin my mood. Two probably would. Don't know how to whom to play. Let's play D Downer. And yeah, don't worry, I'll readjust the board. Mr. D Downer, another strong player. Another black game. Goes e4. e5 hasn't done me any good, so I shall switch to the Sicilian. You know, he plays some goofy, whatever it's called, Grand Prix attack. I will go for this line, which I should also know in more detail. G6 the main move, E6. I've seen this recommended in, which book was it? I think one of Avrul's book, or one of these. I don't know which one was, Experts Against the Sicilian or something like that. He was giving this line, and then this goofy idea of Queen E2, F6, followed by King F7. And if it's goofy, count me in. So let's see how that one goes. D3 doesn't strike me as very critical. Now if I go D4, he's going to have to take on C6. Give me that bishop. I do like my bishops. Because if he didn't give me that, I would have Queen A5 check, picking it up. In this position, I'm not sure if F5 is the right move, but it feels right, just stopping all kinds of F5 unpleasantness in the future, sort of blocking his bishop on C1. I'm happy here. I am happy. I'm feeling glad. I shouldn't sing, I really can't sing. Queen E2, yeah, normal position. I have to figure out how to arrange my pieces. I would like my bishop on the long diagonal. Slightly concerned about some troubles on E6, but I guess I do have time to play B6. Then, if necessary, before I go bishop B7, I'll throw in King H8. Now might be the time just to stop any EF followed by Queen E6 check unpleasantness. I've had enough unpleasantness in that first game. Don't want it again. Knight G5. Interesting. Where do you want to go from here? Does it want Queen H5? I have Queen E8. Not that concerned. Probably I should be. But I'm not. Ain't worried about nothing. It goes back. Okay, you provoked H6. Congratulations. That ain't impressing me much. There comes the queen. Please go away. This is my side of the board. None of your business, white queen. Get out of here. Queen B3. Little off the beaten tracks. Still, it does annoy me. So I want to do something about it. Can I try to chase it? Something like Knight B4 and put a bishop on D5. Then I give up the E5 square. Not very fond of that. Or I could play the move Queen to G8, offering an exchange of queens. Let's do that, for lack of better ideas. Let's get rid of these queens. Not sure if that's a good move. His queen does look a bit funny on B3. Not sure I should be exchanging it. Keeps attacking me. Alright, no threats yet as far as I can tell, which is not very far. I'll go here. If rook AE1, I will probably exchange queens and still operate under the assumption that I'm doing well, which might be irrational confidence. Who knows? Does that knight have any future? Probably just wants to go back. Yeah, that's what he's up to. Don't really want to repeat moves, so I shall evaluate my other options. Could go here. He might jump again. Or he might take. Yeah, he jumps again. Really don't want to repeat. So rook d8. The problem is the rook is misplaced on d8. Nah, I'm going to have to go here and then take it. Which is not ideal. I like my bishops, as we know. But couldn't think of anything better. So the problem is now I'm no longer better. Now the problem is I might be worse. That's the problems. On the plus side, I have my youth and my health. Yeah, I've misplayed that. Not playing well. Is it time to panic? Nah, let's not panic yet. Here e6 is a good move, and after rook f6 he would have knight h5, so I would have to go all the way back to f8. b4, another good move, which I did not expect at all. I guess he wants to take and then play b4 again. Not sure if I should take measures against that. Nah, I have different priorities. I want to grab space on the king side and prepare the move f4. Which might have been a terrible idea again, because it gives up the f6 square. But can't have everything. Goes knight h5, which is another good move. People are just outplaying me left and right, and I don't even have the feeling that I'm playing terribly, so this is very confusing. Maybe I just am playing terribly. Yeah, could have taken that into account. What have I done to my beautiful position? Messed it up. That is a check. I'm gonna have to react to. He really likes that d7 square for his knight. All his knights have to visit the d7 square once in their life. There comes Elliot. However, e6 kind of cut out the support system for his knight on d7. c4 is another fantastic move by D. Downer, which I had not anticipated, trying to bring help to this knight after dc, bishop takes c3, stopping me from doing good stuff. This is too high a level of play for me to compete, I'm afraid. I have to take it, I don't see what else to do. That activates his knight once again. Now it can go back to e5 and then jump around. Yeah, don't like my position. Too many potential knight destinations on d6 or on f6. And I've been slow. People are too strong for me today. g4, another move I have not seen coming. Yeah, he's just playing at a superhuman level. There's nothing I can do about it. Too strong. Now I guess I'm losing a pawn. Yep. Still alive. I'm gonna have to speed up a little bit. Maybe in the last minute g4, another. Oof, bishop e6, knight f8 check. You kidding me? Come on. Another fantastic move. Nothing I can do about it. Bishop f6. I'm not surprised by any of these brilliant moves anymore. So I will at least try to play quickly. Probably I'm gonna lose a piece because of this e-pawn somehow, but I'll hang around. Not sure I understand knight d6. Now I'm back in business. Position is probably drawn. Of course I will try to somehow win it, but I'm afraid both time and number of pawns aren't really on my side. Now time is on my side. I'm winning, believe it or not. You probably believe it, since I'm a knight up. D Downer lost on time after completely crushing me. He started playing worse near the end of the game, fortunately for me. But excellent game by Mr. D Downer, who, played a lot of moves I had not anticipated at all, like c4 or g4. Some fantastic moves. Let's play someone else. Whom do we choose? It's always a very tough choice. I need to lower the level of competition. No offense meant. I'm always trying to play against people I've never played before. Knas Winstrom. Not a name I recognize. The record shows I've never played him. New premium member from Sweden. Believe it or not, I'm not Swedish, in spite of my name being Gustafsson. I am German with Swedish, whatever, great grandmother. I always get it wrong and then my mom gets upset at me. I think it's a great grandmother, but that's as far as my Sweden ties go. He's played a line which I play a lot myself after c4, knight f3, and play the sort of English which looks like a Sicilian, but there's a pawn on c4 instead of e4. And I do consider the critical reply to be this line with knight c6 and e6, which we've recently seen in the game. Anand against, who was it, Wesley So? Yeah, I think Wesley So in Bilbao. Anand tried the line with g3, knight b3, which I had always dismissed as not too critical. But we'll see what Knas Winstrom comes up with. Main moves here, a3 is a move, g3 is a move. I've played bishop f4 recently, knight db5 is a move. It's a big tabia. Bishop a5, bishop g5 is also a move, which was played once by Kramnik against Leko, I think. So all kinds of moves have been seen. Bishop g5 is a very solid option. Gives black some chances to simplify many lines, because you have this move queen a5 hitting the bishop, and then after knight h4, bishop h4, well, here with g3 I could maybe think about g5 picking up the bishop. Well, if he goes e3 instead of g3, I think there's a theoretical line, queen a5 and knight e4 or some stuff like that, which is supposed to lead to egalite. He gives me the bishop. Never give me bishops, Knas. Or maybe do, because I've grabbed the bishop pair in the last two games and suffered horribly enjoying my bishops. But as a rule, in this position, this bishop should be a pretty good piece on this long diagonal f6 all the way to c3. Knight db5 looks logical, trying to give a check on d6, but I'm in time to castle away, and then chase this knight away. Chase the knight away. Is that a song? Dance the Night Away is probably a song. With a6, so I'm in very good shape here. He probably has to go rook c1 or something, but then he goes rook c1, a6, knight d6. Could already think about many things. Could go a6, knight d6, and then the greedy bishop c3 and rook a2. But I don't like it. I think I'll sacrifice a pawn instead, or offer it, trying to blow the position open for all my bishops. d5, if takes, pawn takes, queen d5, bishop e6, and I would gain pretty significant lead in development. In fact, I don't think white can go for this. So he's going to have to think of something else, and I do like my position. Let's see what Knas comes up with. People are asking if I made the joke before. I don't know which joke, but normally I do repeat my jokes in every show. I have like 5 go-to jokes, and I'm trying to throw them in there. Here I'm trying to grab his knight. This knight on b5 is in trouble. Could try to sell his life at a high price, something like knight d5, queen b5, knight c7, which I have a feeling should be winning for me as well, but I don't see anything better. So you might as well try that. trying to fork me. Here, I prepared a new joke. I brought a fork for forking situations. If someone forks the game up, I will show the fork. But he didn't do that. He went 94 instead. And now I'm just a piece up. My king is a little shaky, so I'm going to have to pay a little attention. But a piece is a piece. And as I learned from Pepe Cuenca, if you're a piece up with a shaky king, you want to exchange stuff. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of the queens, leading to my favorite type of ending, the endgame with extra pieces. You can take that pawn if you want to, but you shouldn't, because I have bishop b7 in the end, when this bishop attacks a lot of rooks on the same diagonal. Not gonna be able to do it. A rook is a rook, as we say in Hamburg. Not sure we say that. And the extra rook and bishop will make their presence felt, even though the bishop on h1 might not be a big contributor. Together with the two rooks, it will get the job done. Pretty sure. Sorry, Knas Winstrom. Is Knas really his name? No, it's Klaas. He slightly changed his name for his user handle. Very creative usage. And he resigns with the e2 pawn gone. There was no big reason to continue the game. And I'm on the scoreboard. Now, I won the last game actually, but that one didn't feel like a win at all. Must find new opponent. Played all of you guys. Then again, that should not be a reason to never play anybody again. But for now, I'll continue with the theme of giving people a chance that I've never played, and play Taveler. Yes, Taveler. What do I do? Let's go on c5. Not a move I typically play, but not such a terrible setup. I don't like it much when I'm white, and I really don't like it when I'm black. The, what is it called? Old Indian, Super Old Indian, Czech Benoni. d6 is not a critical move. I should just go e4, knight c3, take it from there. Now I could go de and get an equal endgame, but fe keeps the queens on the board, and believe it or not, I quite like having the queens on the board. Let's try to grab the center before it's too late. I also quite like controlling the center. I'm old school that way. I don't like any of this hyper-modern control the center with pieces stuff. Way over my head. I want to put my pawns in the center and squeeze my opponents with my control of the central squares with pawns. Doesn't always work, is the problem. Sometimes it does. Little trap here. He can't go bishop f6 followed by knight takes c5 because of queen a5 check. It's another trick I always try to get in, queen a5 check. Doesn't always work. So yeah, he's played very sensibly. The position is probably roughly equal. I did get my desired center, but he's getting very fluid development. My king is a little weak, so nothing much dramatic happened. Not sure about bishop g4. Gotta get the pieces out somehow. Ideally without blundering something like queen b3 check, but I still have rook f7, so it does not look too bad. Rook c1, another sensible move. Taveler playing well so far. And I would like to go a5 here, but not gonna be able to do it because of queen b3 check. So I shall prepare for the storm to come with b4 by putting my king into the corner, so that there's no more tricks with queen b3 or any of these very bad things that could happen. Taveler playing well so far. Rook e1, another good move. I want to go a5. The problem is queen b3 is bothering me a little bit. Not enough not to do it. This b4 option is bothering me more. And if queen b3, I'll go knight e5 or something. Cover the b6 pawn. Take it from there. Just checking my screen. In the German show I had yesterday, the names were a little small, but I think they're okay today. So it all looks alright. How's the sound, by the way? Am I too loud? I've upped the volume recently a little bit. Pump it up, but I never know if you guys can hear me too loudly or not loudly enough. but the good thing is you can adjust the sound by making it louder, or what's the word, quieter, less loud, silenter. H3, asking for punishment, and his request shall be granted. Knight e5 was nasty because knight e5 I had queen takes f2, but now, yeah, ever since rook e1 this f2 spot is a little soft, and now I'm threatening all kinds of things, one of them being this little pawn advance. It's not even the only way to win, but it is pleasing to the eye, so I'm gonna do it. Delroy, having a great career here, made it all the way to d2, and he's gonna eat a rook. And as we've seen from the last game, a rook up, I am a highly efficient killing machine. So I don't like Tavla's chances here. Not gonna be able to do it, and Tavla resigns. Sorry about that. Went downhill very quickly. Harold van Heringen always mutes me, and I cannot blame him one bit. I do the same thing. Just enjoy the excellent quality of chess without all the narcissistic chatter. Let's play someone else. Let's play Das Kapital lesen. I tried to play him the other day, but he wasn't fully there, so wasn't able to do it. Let's see if he's here today. If he once again missed Das Kapital, then I'm gonna have to reconsider my choosing you strategy. And I'll continue with the theme of the day, going c5 early. I normally don't do it because I don't really like playing with a space disadvantage. Not a big fan of the Benko gambit, to be completely frank with you guys. The old main line with bishop a6 has somehow suffered a crisis recently because of many bad things that could happen. But this line, as far as I know, is still kind of out there and playable. I've never studied it, is the problem. I believe our boy Pepe Cuenca did a video series about it. Maybe in Spanish, probably it's in Spanish, recommending this stuff. Not quite sure. Do remember a game, what game was it? Gelfand Carlsen, where Gelfand blundered quite early and got into trouble, but here after bishop d2 I'm already out of book. I guess I should take on d6 one day, maybe on a6, sorry. Maybe I can wait a little bit. Then again, do I want to wait? d6, knight b5, is there a problem? Nah, not yet. Knight b5, I'll go queen b6. Plays all the useful moves, which is not very fair. So I will continue this waiting game. I'm waiting for his bishop to move in order to then capture on a6. I'm not even sure that's a smart idea. It's probably not actually, because he can go bishop e2 and now just castle kingside, which is not ideal from my point of view, but it still looks like halfway normal Benko position, where I'm a pawn down but get the standard counterplay on the queen side. So we shall see how it goes. Typical maneuvers here include something like knight e8, knight c7, knight b5. Probably I'm gonna have to do something about my queen one of these days. But I don't know what yet. I don't know, man. Flying Penguin is challenging me to unorthodox openings. I'm getting some feedback. The sound is too loud. Let's lower it a little bit. This is a little lower. Is this better? Or maybe it was just me speaking on a slightly less obnoxious way. He goes knight b5 trying to eat my queen. Not gonna happen. And the problem with knight b5 is that now e4 is on priest and this knight is attacked. So I think the timing of that move was a little off. Probably nothing better than going back when I could think about snacking on b2. And I will think about it long and hard, because I like my pawns and I'm not that comfortable at pawn down. That's not true. Like if there's long-term compensation like here or in the Marshall, I'm alright with it. But as a rule, I'm not that good with material down. I prefer being material up. Deep insights. Knight c3, can I take this or is something bad gonna happen? Rook b1, queen a3. I don't see anything too bad, so I'll take it. Maybe I should throw in a little bishop takes e2. Not necessary, but I don't want to have to recapture on b8 with the knight, which I would have had to in the other line. Well, now I can take with the rook. What I'm saying is if I go queen a3 immediately, he would have gone bishop a6, rook a6, or rook b8, or rook b8 immediately, and I would have had to take with the knight, which I was trying to avoid. Could have done that if he starts with bishop a6 instead of bishop e2, instead of rook b1, of course. But he didn't. Anyway, I got my pawn back. He should now seize the chance to go e5 and compromise my structure before it's too late, because if I get one more move here, I can go knight e8. He's going to be in trouble. Then I would just have a great version of the Benko, or the Volga, as we say in Germany, and he wouldn't have anything to show for it. So e5, to my mind, is more or less forced. And I will have to think if I can get away with knight e8, allowing e6, or if I have to go d5, which should be fine for me, but compromises my pawn structure, so I wouldn't be thrilled about it. Of course I could think in advance, but nah, too lazy. Let's read the chat. Now the volume is too low. Can't win. Let's try something like this. Here, 104 decibel. How's that? No, 10.4. 104 would be really loud. Das Kapitallesen is taking a deep, long thinking break here, and I don't like this move, as I've mentioned before. He should have gone e5, because now I can switch to more autopilot-y Benko play. Bring my knight over here. Maybe think about rook b2. Put his queenside under pressure and hope that will... Oh, I could have taken his rook, which I probably should have done with hindsight. But yeah, didn't really adjust to the new situation after bishop e1. Still, it's always a little embarrassing. If you don't take a rook in one move, means something's a little off. I want to keep the queens on board, even though that means that I have to keep an eye on the b7 square. I'm still shell-shocked by not taking that rook. Still doing well, but rook is a rook. And he plays well now, which is also very unfair. Das Kapitallesen has been yielded a second life here because of my stupidity. And now, yeah, I'm not even sure if I'm better anymore. I might not be. I like being better. Should go knight d2. Or so I would think. He's trying to probably put his queen on a6, which is also interesting. Can I take this, or is this suicide? I don't know. Under pressure. Taking was probably too risky. And yeah, I've seen this, but I thought I was still kind of alright. Not sure about it though. This b-pawn is really fast. Yeah, I've messed up again. Why do I always mess up? It's such a good position. Well, now the b-pawn might pose insurmountable difficulties for me. Knight a5, queen a5, and queen a7 is a big, big threat. c4, queen a7, queen somewhere. Can't do it. Sad. I'm gonna have to flag him, which makes me feel bad about myself. Not really, but a little bit. I always feel a little bit guilty. But there's just no other option. Very, very sad. Should I exchange queens and push my c-pawn? No, he goes knight e1 and then knight c2, so it really doesn't give me a lot of counterplay. So I have to try to muddy the water like this and hope for something like this, because now I can pick up his knight with check. But big comeback there by Das Kapitallesen, mainly because I was a little shell-shocked after not taking his rook. But that's hardly his fault. Queen e5, does that win? Takes, king g3, c3, yeah, that looks winning. Good game, Das Kapitallesen, and apologies for the... I don't know what I'm apologizing for, but yeah, apologies to myself for playing so terribly. People want to see me lose, I understand that, but I already lost the first game. Give me a break, let me win some. Whom do I play? Oh, I will play Transposer. If I'm rightly informed, Mr. Transposer just won the World Junior Championship under 16. Congratulations, Rowan Vogel, the new world champion under 16. A German world champion, we don't have that every day. So congratulations to him, very impressive job. I hope he really did win and I'm not misinformed, but I've seen the standings after 11 rounds where he had 9 out of 11, which was first place, and I do think that the tournament is over. If I'm not, I apologize, but I do think that he did win. Goes knight f3, g3, I never know what to do here. I will play very classically d5, e6, bishop e7. d4 castles, and he can transpose to the Catalan, which I've just done a video series about, so I do know my way around here. So does Transposer, obviously, and as we know, I can never remember anything, including my own advice, so he's probably better prepared than me. Still, I do know the stuff. Queen c4 is the main move, knight e5 and rook d1 are the alternatives. For details, I can highly recommend my series on the Catalan, black repertoire against d4. Bishop g5, not a very common move, but I guess it transposes to the main line with bishop c6. I'm thinking if I can exploit it somehow, but probably a 3-minute game is not the point in time to fantasize about moves that are bad anyway. Knight bd2, can he do that? No, I'm really gonna stick to my pawn. You know, I like pawns. Doesn't seem to bother him all that much. Interesting choice. e4. h6 looks logical, then takes some b3, I guess. Yeah, let's see what happens. Knight bd7 was also possible, but I didn't like that my bishop on c6 was unprotected then. Now bishop f4. This looks a bit like freestyling, Mr. Transposer. Still has compensation for the pawn. There's always some compensation in these positions, but how bad can it be? I have a pawn. Problem is, yeah, I really want to go knight bd7, but then b3 annoys me. So this is a strange move to make, but I'll prepare knight bd7 by going bishop b7. So his bishop is no longer en prise there. It is a little strange, I'll admit that much. Rook e1, he's covering e4 to prepare all kinds of evil things. I will anticipate all these evil things and go bishop b4. Was mainly planning to go b3 after knight bd7 again. Didn't want that to happen. So I'll go here, and now I do have a good position. However, this is a 3-minute game, and I've lost better positions to this guy, so it's time to speed up a little bit. And there's always some compensation. You never know. I'm threatening cd4, but not anymore, I guess. It's messy. He always has some attacking chances on the king side, and I'm not sure. I should have allowed this bishop into d6, but yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe he missed knight takes b4, because this does make a lot of sense. Many good moves now. Let's start with this one. Could go knight c2, then knight d6, and I'm not sure what's going on. Should favor me, but can I make my life even easier? So many sort of winning options. Nah, I should play quickly. First of all, play quickly. That's always the first order of business. I'm winning, but I'm very low on time, and this guy's quick, so I'm gonna have to stay focused and fast. Did Did I bungle it already? I mean, I'm still winning, but this wasn't the plan, obviously. And Transposer resigns, but if he did win the World Junior Championship, I'm sure he's gonna get over that one. Congratulations. Very impressive. And if my info is wrong, apologies, but that's what I heard, so I'll operate under the assumption he did and congratulate him. I hope I didn't pull a Lawrence Trans and jinx him when the tournament isn't over yet. So Transposer, let us know, are you the world champion? Being told that he won. Yeah, congrats. Very impressive. But I'm not sure the Catalan line is any good, he played Transposer. Still, he almost did flag me. Let's play someone weaker. No offense to whoever is the next opponent, but he's not gonna be the World Junior Champion under 16. Let's play someone I've never played. What about Pratik from India? Pratik 2911? Not sure why he has 911 in his username, but maybe 2911 is his date of birth. I'll go d4 and I will bang out the scary Tompovsky. Not that scary really, but it's a playable opening. I've played it a lot when I was a younger man. Bishop e7. I think the most critical is to go e5 immediately, but how wrong can bishop d3 be? And we get some strange version of the French, which should favor white a little bit. I haven't had to do anything funny with my knights like in the French. You often have to go c3, knight c3, knight e2 or stuff like that. Well, here I've managed to avoid all that stuff and I should be a little better, but of course the game is only just beginning. Rook e1 is sort of anticipating f6, when my rook would be well placed on e1, or so I would hope. I wish I was bigger French expert if dc5 is good here or very bad. I'm never sure. It's good if I manage to control all the central squares, but I'm not sure if I will. Like what I'm saying is if I get in knight b3, knight d4, knight e5, I will be close to winning, but there could be tricks with e5 and I'm not quite sure I'm ready to deal with those. Queen d6 I thought I was kind of ready for, because now I'll just go queen e2, keep an eye on the square. If he goes rook e8 I can plug one knight into e5. I think I'll do the same thing here. Or can he take and go knight g4? No, even then, just rook e2. That looks like a big advantage. Let's see. Here we go. And I was arguing it looks like a big advantage because I thought next move I can go h3, then knight to f3 with a winning position. But he correctly goes e5, trying to make things a little murkier. Now I have a choice, h3 or f3. I think both will leave me pawn up in the end. f3 I disliked e4 takes and knight e5, so I decided to go for this. I'm not sure if this is the correct choice, but we will find out. Now we probably won't find out. The game will end however it ends, and we still won't know if I chose correctly. But I thought I was winning a pawn here. Bishop e4, d, e, h, g, bishop g4, rook e4. Pawn is a pawn. Can of course play something else here, whatever, rook e8, but wouldn't change the course of the game all that much. Now for my flawless technique. Step number 1, put knight on d4. Number 1 accomplished. Number 2, put rook on open file. Number 3, don't lose any pawns. Number 4, bring king closer to center. Not sure I have any further steps. Maybe number 5, like create a new weakness or something, is gonna show up somewhere down the line. Maybe not. Yeah, number 5, fish for weaknesses. I think he should go g5 check, and he does. But that weakens some squares at least. The f5 square could be some potential here with rook h1, rook h6. So I do like my chances. Number 7, attack those weaknesses. Which will bring us to number 8, collect more material. And number 9, win. That's how it's always explained in old textbooks, but never really works that way in real life, unfortunately. Or for me at least it doesn't. So I'm still in the number 9 phase, grab more material. Now I'm targeting Mr. B7, which, because he had to slightly tangle himself up to defend the king side, it's going to be very hard to prevent knight t6. Or the immediate rook b7, same idea. Did he manage to do it? I thought he was not going to be able to do it. He did. I don't really want to allow his bishop to c6, which would happen after knight d6, bishop d5. So I'm going to have to go all the way back to step number, whichever it was. 6, probably step number 6. Move around and create weaknesses. Best laid plans of mice and men. I don't know how that quote ends, but it sounds clever so far. Might have to go all the way back to step number 3 and centralize my king a little further. Instructive stuff, ladies and gentlemen. How to move around and hopefully win somehow. My position is still very close to winning. He does have these weaknesses on g5 and b7, and now my king is a little more active than it used to be, so I can start operating with other stuff like exchange threats with rook d6, for example. Do I do that now, or do I go rook b6 as I intended? Yeah, let's go here. Timing could be a little off here because of the bishop d5. I can grab the pawn on b7, but his king would come to help. So yeah, I think I've not played this ideally. Believe it or not, you probably believe it. c4 he can't take because of knight d6, and if bishop c6 I want to go knight d4. Maintaining semblance of control. Might be a good move actually, c4. I hate praising myself. Nah, I don't. But c4 was quite clever, and rook e1 check does not really work, or so I would have thought, because I missed rook e6. Check. Give me that. Kudos to Pratik, by the way, who defended very well from his pretty miserable starting position. But now I have a rook ending with 2 pawns up, and 2 pawns tends to be 1 pawn too many to harvest any hopes as the defender. Not sure if that rule of thumb always applies, but I'll decide it applies here. This is winning. 2 pawns are 2 pawns. As his famous game, Short Kasparov, which with a similar situation, where for one move Kasparov bungled it and it was a draw, but Short didn't use that moment. But yeah, as a rule, as I said, 2 pawns are too many. They will slowly but surely advance. I'll even be happy with 1 pawn as long as it becomes a new queen and Pratik resigns. Still very stiff defense by Pratik, and I'm being told I missed a fork, which I'm not surprised by. I brought a fork, but sometimes I still miss one. Must find new opponent. Oh, I see someone I've never played. And I will play him, Mr. Philipp Kirchner. Wherever he's from. Probably from Germany. That's about as German a name as I've seen. And yeah, he is from Germany. I will go for the Open Sicilian or the King's Gambit to spice the show up a little bit. Unless he plays a different opening, which I'm not familiar with. Then I'm going to have to do something else. I'm not a big e4 player, as you guys know. But I do consider myself a pretty decent all-around opening theoretician. So I tend to know my way around. The problem is I don't feel these Open Sicilian positions so well, because I never play them. Slightly overdoing the pocket square thingy here. Philipp Kirchner is not around. Sorry, Philipp. We start the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. And we will find someone else. What about our friend from Ecuador, Diego Jimenez Vivanco? Diego, I'm sorry. Diego is here, d4. What other crazy openings can I play? I'll play the King's Indian. That's about as crazy as it can get in my book. Of course, it's not a crazy opening. It's just one I dislike from the black side, because once again, I don't like giving up space so early. And this pawn on d5 scares me. If he plays g3, this would be a chance to chicken out and go for c6, d5, which I would probably do in a tournament game, or they made it d5, but more on the King's Indian spirit is this system. Knight c6, a6 is one of many setups, arguably the main line, leading to interesting play. Black wants to go rook b8, b5, and white has many ways to counter that. Rook e1, one of the many moves you can play here. I'll go rook b8, he goes a4, which I'm not sure if this is the correct move, but a typical reaction is to go a5, secure the b4 square for Mr. Knight. Since he goes e4 without having played h3, I will go bishop g4, try to put a little pressure on the d4 pawn. Still white is alright here. If he goes h3, I'm going to have to take, and then think long and hard about what I want to do next. Trying to do that now. I'm thinking about bishop f3 followed by e5, d5, knight d4. Then if takes, pawn takes, knight b5. I have knight c5. Yeah, looks interesting enough. Let's do it. I could also have played more slowly, something like knight b4 followed by c5, but this looked intriguing because I could see some knight forks. He doesn't want any knight fork business, but I'll insist. Yeah, only move bishop d4, now knight b5, and I have a tempting choice. How do I decide is the big question. I could just go c6 as always, positional compensation if he takes on d4, but I will try to keep this pawn alive a little bit. Little pawn in the flesh. He takes my pawn, which is not a very nice thing to do. But I can't really blame him as much as I would like to. Not sure how to react. I have many tempting choices. c6 was a very interesting move, but I couldn't fully make it work. So I shall continue with the greedy move, bishop e2, rook a2. Once again I have a choice, and when in doubt, play the greediest move. That's been my long-term policy. I'll go b6 to keep my pawn on c7. He can't go queen a7 because after rook b7 his queen would be very, very short in the squares department. So he has to go back to b4 or d2, probably d2. I'll go back with the bishop and I'll be slightly better positionally, but nothing would have really happened. Nothing really matters to me. I really should stop singing. I guess a5 is the move here, just to keep opening up the queen side and recreate the target on c7. Still in very good shape. The d3 pawn is alive and strong, and at some point I can switch my attention to the king side, rook e8, keeping an eye on this dude, and now I'm thinking about f5 or queen f6 or how the James Bond movie is gonna be like, those kind of things. Knight c3 back, tempting me to go f5, and I am easily tempted. Now what I want to do, and I shall do, is give up my lovely bishop to create a playmate for the pawn on d4, on d3, on e4. Doesn't like that, but giving up a whole piece to get rid of it strikes me as a bit of an overreaction. A piece is a piece. Something's happening on my phone. Someone likes something on Facebook. What is going on? This is so exciting. Oh, someone mentioned me on Twitter. Even more exciting. Because as we all know, I do define my self-worth by my Twitter followers. I wish I was joking about it, but we all know I'm not. So there it is. Follow GM Jan Gustafsson. Or don't. Takes followed by a4 does lead to a hopeless position for Diego, so he resigns. Is it time for my customary bathroom break? I think it is. I think I could go one more game, but bad things might happen. You don't want to witness that. So I'll be back in around 2 minutes. That's the amount of time it normally takes. Enjoy this very beautiful picture I'm going to put up, and see you guys soon. Welcome back, everybody. I think that was more or less 2 minutes. In case you're even more interested in my bladder movements, which I'm sure you are, you can study this 72-hour Blitz Marathon, which is going to start next week on the 12th, whatever day that is, the Thursday, I believe. And yeah, Pepe Cuenca and me are going to play 72 hours of Banter Blitz non-stop, which I'm not sure if we're going to survive. But yeah, look forward to a lot of bathroom breaks. And I believe this show is going to be a little bit like Train Spotting, because you guys know I'm a smoker and I'm going to have to give it up for doing that show, because we're not planning to have any breaks except for, of course, the bathroom breaks. So it's going to be me on withdrawal, sort of cold turkey, If you've seen the movie Trainspotting, you know what to expect, except instead of a 2 hours movie, it's going to be like a 72-hour movie. So I'm looking forward to that one. But for now, let's keep the show rolling and play someone else. Whom do we play? I'll play another guy I've never played. Mr. Legat from Germany. Rated 1381, so he's probably a little newer to chess. And I'll probably crush him. Whom are we kidding? But he gets the opportunity to surprise us and play against the Grandmaster. d4, g6, not a typical combination normally. If you go g6, you want to pair it up with knight f6, because here you're not in time to reach a normal Grunfeld. Here the problem is white goes e4, but he hasn't played knight c3 yet. Probably Legat wants to play a version of the Grunfeld, but here the knight gets kicked away, and that's not a very good version. So if you want to play the Grunfeld, start with knight f6, g6 Legat, and wait for the move knight c3, then you go d5, and then you can exchange here. While in this position, you cannot do it. Nah, I'm not gonna do any Nicoretta stuff. I have to quit a bit early, because of course I'm a very experienced quitter when it comes to smoking, and normally the first 2-3 days are very tough, and it's a bit like a flu, you feel a bit weird, but after that you still have a craving every now and then, but it's not that bad. So I think I'm gonna go cold turkey. No chewing. This position should be good for me. I'm not sure which move to play, bishop c4 or bishop e2. All do favor white. And Legat is taking his time here. He should castle and hope for the best, but he is worse. Bishop e6 is it's a bit of an overreaction against bishop c4, because now he's crippling his pawns and he's giving me many tempting options. I could go e5 positionally, locking in this bishop on g7, pretty much for good. But greedy as I am, I think I'm going to target his pawns ASAP and try to eat as much as I can. Speaking of eating, haven't eaten a lot yet. I just got a salad, but I wasn't in time to eat it before this exciting show started. So I'm going to have to eat it after. Really hungry. And the b7 pawn does not lessen my appetite. Yeah, Legat was in trouble. Queen c6, queen c8 didn't really help his case. So he castles, gives up the rook, but a rook is a rook. Some counterplay, knight c6, queen b7, rook b8, queen a6, knight b4, but not really enough. The queen returns home safely, as Matt Damon does in The Martian. I should have said spoiler alert, but come on, we all knew. He's not gonna die on Mars. And the game is pretty much over, as is the movie. Legat instead decides to grab this pawn. But a pawn is a small price to pay for a rook. So I will happily agree to that transaction. Knight g4. Go for the attack. He does. Be careful what you wish for. Knight d1 looks a little ridiculous. Let's see if I can solve this more radically. Most radical is bishop e3, which wins. It's not the most aesthetically pleasing, but sometimes it's not all about aesthetics. You can actually get a bit of counterplay if he goes queen e5 now, threatening mate on h2, g3, queen h5. Well, yeah, this is kind of hopeless, even though he gets a pawn back even with check. Now my extra rook has his say. The rooks are very powerful animals. And I'm planning a little check on c8 to end this game. Don't tell anybody. But that's what I had in mind. Playing another little check, and that's checkmate. Sorry, Legat. Alright, I feel like I've cleared my bladder. I've gathered enough strength to play someone very strong, like my sick duck, 2500 player. Let's see what he's up to. Has a Darth Vader profile pic, but it's called My Sick Duck. It's very confusing. Most people don't have sick ducks. So, what is he referring to? I do not know. Maybe he's not here at all. Or maybe he's ducking my challenge. Yeah, I should get extra points for that pun. I'm gonna have to start the countdown on my sick duck. The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 abort countdown. Sorry, my sick duck. Let's find a different, strong opponent. Muy fuerte. What we got in this list? We got Fanart 666. I think I played Fanart 666 the other day, and I was speculating about his devilish username. I don't know what's about. Maybe he's just a Satanist, and that's why he's calling himself a 666 fanatic. But maybe it has very different reasons. Maybe that's his address. Maybe he lives in 666 Baker Street or something. You never know why people choose their usernames, and you never know if they're actually here or not. Looks like Mr. Fanat might also not be around. I'm speaking Spanish with English-Deutsch accent. Yeah, I have a terrible accent in Spanish. I can't get rid of it, mainly because I can't say the R. I don't think I have such a... Obviously I have an accent when speaking English, but I don't feel it's all that German. But yeah, in Spanish I do have a huge accent, and Fanat is also not around. So speaking of Fanat, if I can't play Mr. 666, let's play his boss, the infamous devil himself. Maybe I played the infamous devil the other day, and I was speculating about why all these devil usernames? I don't know. I'll go with the Taimanov, which nowadays, if I play the Sicilian on the rare occasions, might be my go-to line. Nah, probably the dragon is still my go-to line, but once in a while I do release the good old Taimanov. Yeah, this is one of the critical lines in Knight A4. I haven't really checked all videos in Robin van Kampen's series. In my days, the old days, good old days as I call them, you were allowed to grab this pawn and then sort of defend passively with a complicated position, something like this. It's all theory, and that's as much as I know. White is very good compensation. Not sure what the assessment is nowadays, if it's rendered unplayable or harmless or none of the above. We'll find out. I want to go rook b8, then probably rook d8, and then think. That's pretty much the plan. Not sure if in that order. I know I'm not going to start with thinking, but I might start with rook d8, or most likely I'll go rook b8 first. Just if he goes knight b6, I'm going to have to do it anyway. And if not, it's still nice to step out of this permanent knight b6 looming over my head. Problem is, white has pretty good long-term compensation. Let's say knight b6, rook b8, queen a4, intending rook d1 and b4. It's not so easy to free yourself. Yeah, bishop f3, typical move as well. So I'm going to have to think what to do about it. But for now I'm sticking with the plan. Rook a1, rook e1, rook b8, rook d8, and now think. I think that's what I promised, and here we are. Time to think. Could go e5, knight f5, d5, cd, bishop d6, which would still give him pretty good compensation, but why not? Oh, did I blunder? I think I blundered. Oh, I missed bishop b6. That's quite a painful miss. Normally the knight is on b6 already. That's probably why I had this theme in my head. Ah, that is most unfortunate. Yeah, that's painful blunder. So I'm going to have to go rook d6 instead, I guess. Which really wasn't the plan. And I'm just an exchange down with a bad position. But you gotta work with what you got. So I shouldn't primo rook d6. What if he does something else? Like, I think I can primo rook d6, because the only moves he has is knight e7, which is bad, or cd6, which is good. And after knight e7, rook d6 wouldn't be legal, so I wouldn't lose much. But why push our luck if we have 4 minutes? Yes, cd bishop d6. Maybe he hasn't spotted bishop b6 yet. But yeah, that is a very unfortunate oversight on my part. Now I'm kind of lost. He even has funky moves like bishop a7, rook a8, now knight b6, but bishop b6 is also logical and good. I have pretty much nothing to show for the missing exchange, and there's many ways to bring it home. This is one of them. Very positional if he goes bishop c5 now, which he does. Yeah, I really don't have a lot of compensation. Unfortunately, I would like to have some, but there's not much there. Yeah, it's the danger of like half knowledge. I have remembered that idea of rook d8, e5, d5, but it was with the knight on b6, and I should have briefly checked the new circumstances, which were can't do it, it's kind of losing, before deciding on it. f4, good move I can't take because of back rank issues, but it slightly weakens his king, so I'm gonna hope for the best. Best might not be good enough. Just rook e5. I still have very little to show. Or f5, nothing wrong with it either. Yeah, what to do? Queen g6. I shouldn't make his life too easy. Now he's queen c2 with tempo. That was a little dumb as well. Obviously I can't exchange queens. And after queen c6 I don't really have any big trickery. Should become a little more resilient here. Queen c6, queen d2 doesn't quite do anything either. Nah, not much to do. What can I do? Knight f4 is sort of a blank. I don't see anything better. Try to bring the knight to e6 and try to confuse the issue. But objectively, I am very much lost. Hoping for queen c8 and that my bishop can have a glorious comeback, but I have a feeling that's not gonna happen. King h1, I have a feeling is not a good move though. Which is a pity because, yeah, he had a winning position and then he bungled it in one move. Sorry, infamous devil. Picking up the knight. Is e7 a problem? Nah, not a big problem. Yeah. Once again, I feel slightly bad, but not too bad. I never feel too bad if I swindle and get a winning position, really. But yeah, my opening treatment left a bit desired. This is completely hopeless. I'll just go king f7 and the e7 pawn really can't do any harm. So unless I blunder heavy material, I will bring this home. Sooner or later, probably later. Give me that. That didn't help, but yeah, that's it. The position didn't have much to offer. Oh, did I blunder again? While I'm bragging about my genius, I missed rook e6 check. Could have just gone rook takes e7. I missed this, very cute. Intending ef8 knight. If I'm lucky, the pawn ending is still winning, and he probably has his settings set to auto queen. That's why he needs a lot of time now to change them. Sorry about that. I've run into the same problem. I guess I'm still winning, but barely. Wow, that was a cute trick there in the end by infamous devil. And yeah, arrogant as I am, I was declaring victory. I'd seen rook e7 just wins on the spot. But rook f8, I completely missed rook e6. Some very nice geometry. Saving himself to a pawn endgame. Nice trick there, infamous devil, and sorry for swindling my way out of yet another terrible position. Who do we play? I'll play one more guy I've never played, if I find one. Here we got one. Tommaso Torti from Italy. I'll play e4. You will have noticed my pattern that I don't dare to go e4 against most of the strongest opponents because I feel less at home, but I'm trying to gain some experience in these crazy e4 positions. And here we are. Tommaso might not be around. No, he's not. Sorry, Tommaso. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Abort. Very sorry. Let's play someone else. What time is it? We can still play. 2 more? Let's say 2 more games. Then call it an evening. I will readjust the board shortly as well while I'm scanning my list of possible opponents. I'll play against the Jake, the Jakester, the Jake EX. Now the German. Let's see what the Jakester is up. If the Jakester is here at all. He might not be here either. Everyone might be at the movies. No, there's Jake, d4. I'll go d5. And what haven't I done for a while? I haven't played the Slav for a while. Nothing wrong with the Slav, really. It does allow cd5, which is a little dull. g3 is one of these lines which have come into fashion recently, like going g3 in every random situation. People used to not do that in the old days, but nowadays g3 is on vogue pretty much everywhere. And yeah, I've seen strong people do this, like the likes of Grishuk, Kramnik, and a bunch of good players. Aaron is asking if I'm going to any theaters in LA. No, I'm going to go to the Staples Center and watch the Clippers play the Warriors. That's the one big thing I'm excited about. I might go to the movie theaters, but I'm not a big culture guy when it comes to real theaters with people actually acting out plays. Isn't that more of a A4 strange move? Anyway, isn't that more of a New York thing? Is there a big theater scene in LA? I have no clue, sorry. I'll check it out. Flying Penguin makes an Anchorman reference, which I always appreciate. Takes, as a rule, cd5 is not a good idea for white in these positions, because after ed5 the structure is kind of determined and his bishop on g2 doesn't have all that much to do. I'll go a5 just so I don't blunder any knight takes d5 tricks later. And yeah, I am comfortable here. Not necessarily better, but very comfortable. My plan is simple. Castle rook e8. See what happens. Aaron just meant the movies. Probably, but nowadays I think we get the movies at the same time as you guys. Like Spectre is coming out in Germany today. I don't think it's been out in the US for a long time. So yeah, I might go watch a movie or two, but I don't have any plans in particular. Generally, I'm more of a TV series guy than a movie guy anyway. I'm probably more excited to have access to HBO now and the American Netflix than I am about the movies. Because the European Netflix, we have it, but it has less stuff. It's a hard knock life being European. Yeah, as for the structure, kind of normal. I'm not quite sure if this bishop h3, knight h4 stuff he's been doing is going to lead him anywhere. King h1, a little undecisive. He's pondering f4, but can't really pull the trigger. Knight f5, fair enough, but the knight all by itself should not do that much damage. I'm going to have to think how I want to react. I think I want to bring this knight around. Bishop h6, not a threat yet, neither is knight h6. So I want to put it on e6 and g5 or somewhere. Somewhere where it does something good. No, I don't like the Clippers all that much. I'll try to disguise myself in the Staples Arena. They're obviously the home team. But yeah, I'm a hater. I root against whatever team LeBron is on. I root against the Rockets and I root against the Clippers. I do like the Spurs. I like the Warriors, but how can you not like the Warriors with Steph Curry playing the way he's playing and them crushing everybody? But mainly, I've never been to an NBA game, even though I'm a huge basketball nerd, so I'm very excited about my first visit of an NBA arena. Like more excited than about picking up this piece on h3 or f5 or wherever. I really want to see the game, and I do hope the Clippers lose. Even though I like most of the guys. I like Chris Paul because I love over-competitive maniacs, and I like Blake Griffin off the court. Seems like a really good guy. But I have some affection for Dallas because of our boy Dirk Nowitzki playing there. And therefore, after the whole summer Dallas DeAndre Jordan story, more reason to root against the Clippers. I don't know. I'm being asked if I'm going to Hollywood. I think I'm too lazy to do the Universal Studios tour or stuff like that. But I'll have a look around. I've never been to LA, so I really have no clue, no plan. While the Jake resigns because he was losing a piece. Let's play someone else. Last game of the day, people. I chose blindfoldedly. Problem is, whenever I try to do that, I don't hit the button, so it's always tough to do. But I'll click as soon as I hit someone, I'll play him, as long as he's a premium member. It's Hassan from Pakistan. Amazing with premium members in Pakistan. Glad to see that. Hassan, if you're around, I'll crush you. Aaron says I should prepare to be unimpressed with LA as long as the weather is good, as long as it's whatever, 80 degrees in your crazy system, I'll be alright. Gonna stay at my friend Yakov's. Yakov, if you're watching, shout out. Very much looking forward to it. I think he has a nice place with a pool, and if the weather is good and he has internet, there's really no way I'm gonna dislike it. I already can't really walk anywhere, so I'm gonna need to make some plans. And yeah, Aaron mentions Vienna. I've been to Vienna, it's beautiful. Many beautiful places, but all I really care about is the good weather and chillaxing. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to like it first time to LA. If I'm not going to like it that much, I might not go back, but I've never been there. And I feel I should. You guys are applying for the Olympics 2024 together with my city Hamburg, so I have to go check out the competition. While Hassan here goes for the move bishop g5, which might feature in my next video series, part 2 of the d4 repertoire. Might feature in part 3, because it's a bit of a sideline, but bishop b4 check is one way to transpose to the Vienna, which is my favorite line here. a3, I could take on d2, not to lose any time, even though it gives up a bishop. Or I could go back to e7, but I feel taking is fine, and then go bishop b7. Ain't worry about nothing. What are you guys talking about? Mr. Norowitz is a famed bullet player from New York, Yakov Norowitz. I've met him once, he's a very strong over-the-board blitz player, thinking I am. Mr. Nowitzki is a basketball player from the Dallas Mavericks. Not quite sure what you're talking about. Yeah, Harold is recommending me Santa Monica Pier and Venice Beach. Yeah, I'll be right, as long as the sun is shining. I don't even need sunshine, I just need decent weather. It's not bad in Hamburg for this time of the year, but still in my Celsius system, I don't know, 10 degrees and rains a bit, even though the last days have been okay. But I really like warm weather. And I feel that's the story with all these showbiz people. They are all from New York originally. Of course not all, but many of them. And then they moved to LA and they whine a lot about LA not being New York, but they still stay there because weather really does matter. Yeah, that's the one beef I have with Hamburg, which is a very nice place to live. Not as small as you guys might think. We have 2 million people, so it's a really nice place. I like it here, but the weather is no good. And I do like sunshine. I also like pawns, so I'm trying to grab some more, but for now I'm still only 1 pawn up against Hassan. With a better position, he hasn't really put my pawn construction on the queen side under a lot of pressure, but the game is still very much ongoing. But yeah, before I can plan my vacation, I still have to survive the 72 hours Banter Blitz marathon, which I probably will, but who knows? Because me and Pepe agree that quitting is not really an option, so it's either surviving Or the second part of the 50 Cent album title, Get Rich, or nah, that joke didn't work. But yeah, I'm pretty confident. I'm gonna survive. It's gonna be fun, but I'll probably hate myself around day 3 because playing, well, I mean, we can take turns and take breaks, but even talking about chess for 12 hours a day on average is gonna be kind of tough, and I don't know, I've never done anything like that before. We'll see how it goes. Kind of looking forward to it. Kind of. Trying to put Hassan under pressure here, threatening queen f2, which he does parry by going rook f1. Fair enough. And now I have many good options. cb, c3, cp3. Can't decide. Let's go c3. Or should I not do that? Don't know. I'll pre-move a bit just to show my tremendous anticipation skills. Yeah, Hassan is in trouble. I still have an extra pawn and I have a good position. Normally, yeah, one of the two you can live with, but both tends to be a lot to handle. Not gonna be able to do it. Asked if I saw Steph Curry's full court basket. I don't think I have. I've seen Jay Crowder's full court basket, which didn't count because he was beyond the line. I think it was meant to be an out of bounds pass or an inbounds pass. But no, I haven't seen Steph Curry's full court basket. I watched the game this morning. Clippers Warriors. This guy's a freak. Steph Curry. It was a close game. The Clippers played really well, but then they went on a run with our boy Harrison Barnes. And Steph in the fourth quarter was pretty impressive. F3. I'm not sure I'm finding the smoothest way to finish this one off, but my position is sort of dominant. So I ain't that worried. Time to move in. Move a little closer. Could have won the bishop. Probably true. But who knows? I'm happy where I am. Rook d2, yes. Desperation, but there was nothing good for Hassan. Little Zwischenschach. I'm trying to pick up as many pieces as I possibly can. This will yield me a lot of material if I count correctly. Could also checkmate, but as a rule, if you're thinking about checkmating or winning a queen, take the queen, because it might not be checkmate. Hassan says, thank you for the game. Thank you, Hassan. And he resigns. That's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna go watch Spectre, which I think I'm not gonna enjoy that much, as I told you, but I'll try to keep an open mind, because if I think I'm not gonna enjoy it, I probably won't enjoy it. The power of positive thinking might make me enjoy it, even though I think it's pretty much the same as always. And I'm probably not the only one who's getting a little tired of Christoph Waltz playing the villain in every movie. He's good, right? But does he have to be the villain in every movie? I guess we always need a German movie. He's called a German villain. He's called Franz Obermeier, right? And that does sound like a very evil name. So I'll keep you posted if I enjoy it or not. Don't miss Peter Svidler's Banter Blitz tomorrow. I don't know what time. I believe 6 p.m. as well, Central European time. Don't miss our Banter Blitz marathon, where we're gonna need people to play at every time of the day starting next Thursday. See you guys soon. Thank you for watching. Go premium if you haven't already. That's all there is. Until next time, bye bye.